Welcome back. Leaders from across the world attended the funeral for Pope Francis Saturday, including President Trump, who joined Britain's Prime Minister, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, among others. The attention now turning to the centuries-old tradition to select the new pope, and at least 4 of the voting cardinals have ties to Wisconsin. Cardinal Timothy Dolan, currently in New York, served as Milwaukee's Archbishop. Cardinal James Harvey, who serves in the Vatican, grew up in Milwaukee and studied at St. Francis Seminary. Cardinal Raymond Burke, born in Richland Center, was bishop in La Crosse. And Cardinal Joseph Tobin, now an archbishop in Newark, attended seminary in Edgerton and Waterford. We talked this past week with Father Tim Kitsky, rector at the Cathedral of St. John the Evangelist in Milwaukee, about what's next.
What do you make of the politics that has seeped into the church, or may have always been there?
I think it's wherever human beings, it's one of the original sins of being human is we always, going back to Cain and Abel, we have sides. We have to realize that when I go on a typical Sunday, I look right down the aisle of my church and I realize it's 50-50.
You know your parishioners. I'm sure you know some are liberal, some are more conservative. Do they approach this pope differently in terms of how they will look back at him?
Oh, I think so, of course. Yeah, it's the hermeneutics of history.
Yeah.
How you interpret things is based on your own things. Whether or not it's true is not the point. The point is it's true for you. And unfortunately, what we do with that, when we begin to pigeonhole people into what we call in corporate America the siloing of people into, you lose out to the rich fabric of who a person is.
What are going to be the biggest challenges for the next pope?
The biggest challenges, I think, for the next pope are going to be a sense of being the center of an understanding and challenge of what it means to be a Roman Catholic in a very diverse, very varied, very up and down world with a lot of difficult issues that come from our diverse experiences. So, are we going to deal with difficult issues? Yes, we're going to deal with issues of sexuality. I think the church needs to deal with issues of sexuality. I think that's going to be an important part of I'd love to see us talk more and more about that openly with the culture, because otherwise we turn over everything to the culture in which, it's a free-for-all. But no, the church has some true teaching about it that can add to the richness of people having meaningful, relating lives with each other that are healthy. I think we have to deal with the whole thing about immigration. We have to deal with the whole thing about crime, racism, homophobia, all of the different things in which people take the political things that are going on out there in our country right now and thinking that we have to be that way in church. I think we're better than that. And I think the Holy Father now is going to be challenging us to what do we need to do to lift ourselves up and deal with the mess, but from the vantage point that we know the truth, and the truth is Jesus Christ.
The Pope should address some of these hot button issues.
I think so.
Head on.
Head on, of course. Otherwise we become irrelevant.
Up next, the commissioner.